So last night we held a really great New Year's Eve party, and apart from a couple of Jewish songs, there was no religion in the program at all. And as we said in the publicity, it's not the kind of thing that we normally do as a shul, but this year it kind of felt like the right thing to do. But I asked this question: are Jews actually permitted to celebrate a secular New Year? Or at the very least, is it appropriate for us to do it? Please note, I ask this question after we have run the event, just in case the answer is going to be no.
Smart.
So, as you'd expect, universally amongst the Haredim, the answer is no. But even amongst more contemporary American mainstream rabbis, there are some who take a strict view. One American rabbi, Rabbi Mark Wiles, and these are Orthodox rabbis, say, the Jewish calendar carries tremendous spiritual weight containing many significant spiritual landmarks along the way. The Gregorian calendar carries more of a Christian or a Roman tradition, and so for Jews, it simply does not contain the same spiritual significance. And another rabbi, Rabbi Gideon Schlush, says as follows: certainly we value and appreciate and respect what's going on around us, and that the society is celebrating their Rosh Hashanah. But it's not our Rosh Hashanah. We just have to be true to our heritage. Most contemporary Orthodox rabbis, I believe, take a broader view, arguing that the passage of time in any context is useful and that the beginning of the secular calendar may present new opportunities for growth or for positive change. As Rabbi Wiles himself concedes, the secular New Year can serve as an opportunity for any of us, Jew or non-Jew alike, to reflect on the past year and to make some New Year's resolutions for the coming one. Perhaps then there is room for both New Years, each focusing on different aspects of our lives. So whereas the resolutions of Rosh Hashanah focus on our relationship with God, New Year resolutions tend to be of a more physical or of a social nature. You know, resolutions like I'm going to eat less, I'm going to exercise more often, I'm going to be more conscientious about parents or friends. And I ask, aren't both important? Avinu Malkeinu, which we sing on Rosh Hashanah, is a shopping list of hopes and requests for the coming year. Old Lang Syne, based, by the way, on a poem written in 1788 by the national poet of Scotland, Robert Burns, and sung usually at the stroke of midnight, and for us last night at 10 o'clock, is a nostalgic farewell to the year that has passed. And so I ask as well, is it not useful to look back as well as looking forward? The problem, however, arises in the salutations. On New Year, we wish each other a happy New Year. On Rosh Hashanah, the greeting is Shana Tova. I wish you a good year. And the small difference between these two greetings encapsulates the fundamental difference between these two occasions, and it goes to the very heart of whether it is appropriate for Jews to celebrate the secular New Year. According to surveys conducted across all kinds of cultures and life stages, happiness, it seems, is not so easily achieved. I once asked a very successful man, who it seemed to me had everything one could possibly wish for in life, and of whom I have to say I was secretly envious at that time. I asked him whether he was happy, and he replied, no, but I'm poised for happiness. The trouble with happiness, it seems, is that just when we think that we have it in our grasp, it turns out to be a mirage. And most likely that's because we were chasing the wrong dreams. In the places that materialistic society searches for happiness, wealth, recognition, honor, pleasure, it's not to be found. So why wish people a happy new year if the happiness that they seek in the context of secular society's superficial values may well result in disappointment? Tov, on the other hand, good, is altogether different. The first time the word appears in the Bible is in the account of creation, and God saw that it was good. And the commentators explain that this was not a statement on the moral condition of the world at that moment, but instead, Tov in this context means that every part of creation fulfilled God's purpose. It was good because it was meant to be. And that's the deepest meaning of the word good when it's applied to us and to our lives. We are good when we achieve our purpose, when we become the kinds of people that we were meant to be, when our lives are filled are fulfilled and purposeful, when we enjoy meaningful relationships. That is when we find genuine, lasting happiness. And that's why on Rosh Hashanah, the time of the year when we're painfully aware of the gap between who we are and what we should be, we wish each other Shana Tova. We wish to each other the coming year. In the coming year, we should fulfill our true potential. And that therefore brings us back to the question of our New Year's Eve party and whether it was appropriate for a synagogue to run an event celebrating a secular party, a secular holiday that has questionable moral underpinnings. And for me, the answer is simple. There are times when we need to put aside the philosophizing and the debates about secular versus religious, true happiness versus shallow ideals, the moral differences between happy and tov. Simply seeing the joyous faces of the community and their obvious enjoyment of the music, Levi and his musicians, his ensemble, lifting our spirits at the end of a very hard year, was sufficient justification in itself, and one need question no further. I have no qualms at all. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom, and I wish you all a happy and a fulfilled 2021.